Hey there, it's Mike from Mike's Diabetes World. Yes, I know right now it's just my facial expressions, and that's pretty well all it is. But I am working on things to make this channel even better. Today I want to talk about a blood test that they suggest a diabetic take every 3 months. Now, your endocrinologist could have a whole bunch of other tests, but when I first got diabetes, you could play around, do whatever you wanted with your blood sugars, and then a week before you went in, or a couple of days, you went back and did everything perfectly, and you go in and they test your blood, and you'd be fine. Well, along came the hydrogenated Haemoglobin A1c. Anyway, what happens is sugar attaches to the hemoglobin, the red blood cells, and those blood cells only really stick around for 30 days. So the amount of percentage of blood in the over those 30 days will tell your doctor, your diabetic nurse, whoever, that you've either been doing great or you haven't been doing that much. Now, it's important to remember hemoglobin A1c is kind of like the report card. Have you been doing, you go into the doctor's office, you sit down, they go, so how are things going? You say, oh, they're going fine. I've got to admit, along the way, I tried to be the good diabetic. It didn't always work that way, but, sometimes, especially when you work in a convenience store during the night shift. Anyway, I did that, I'll do everything, and we'll go and we'll do a blood test. And when this came on, the doctor kind of said, well, we need to do a lot better control. Right now, you don't have any control. But, see, here's my logbook. It says on there that I'm doing well. It says, I know you're not. And getting your blood work done on an ongoing basis helps to decide if what they're doing is working or not working for you. Now, I've heard for many people saying, oh, well, I stopped going to Diabetes Education Center because they don't know what they're doing. Well, they know what they're doing. If they take a look at these reports, now just because a normal, that your blood is pretty well under control, I think is anything less than a 6. I'm personally around a 6.4, I think was the last one I had. Now, allowing this, talk to your doctor about them. Well, what is this telling me? I know I just recently kind of really did this, and it wasn't even my diabetic doctor. I went and I talked over things with my fat doctor. Anyway, he told me that, this is what you really think. Yes, we look at this is tied in. Now, one of the negatives about hemoglobin A1c is that it's not saying that you're not trying to get under control. It's not saying that you're doing things and how well you're working with things. What it is telling your doctors is how well they're working. And a little kind of aside, there was a glucometer in the early stages where you could delete, and a lot of these people, they had a high blood sugar, delete, maybe even a low. But it doesn't necessarily take a look at you for being a high blood sugar. It could also, for lows, if your number, is 3% of your has little sugar on it, that tells your doctor that, you know what, we're working too well here. Now, well, a diabetic 6 for most diabetics are great. For myself, my doctor would like it a little bit higher. I think my doctor kind of would like 9, 10 for most. If I was kind of stable at that, he'd be kind of happy. But, don't force things and don't press that delete button. If you still have one of those, I doubt they're out there. But because they found people were just deleting all these blood sugars. And then they all come up on a report that said DDD, removed. So again, who are you fooling? And is it worth playing around with things? Now, a lot of parents may realize that they're putting pressure on their diabetic sons or daughters. And this is because they deal with it and then they say, you're high, why are you high? Blah, 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 blah. And that's not the best way to treat diabetes. There will be days where you'll be perfect and you'll get a gold star and everything. Then there'll be days where nothing goes right. You've had a couple of low blood sugars or a couple of highs and you don't understand why. So what the hemoglobin A1c test does, and this is my own opinion, is that it allows your doctor to see, okay, well, yes, you had a couple of lows that day, but in the whole scheme of things, you're actually doing okay. Now, sorry, itchy arm. People need to take a look on your web, and you could take a look, and when your doctor says you have a 14% A1C result, that doesn't mean your blood sugar was up around 14 for the last 30 days, but it could be higher. You need to take a look at the graphs, and there's many different graphs that will answer this about converting the hemoglobin A1c into what the 3 months blood sugars have been. Use it as a positive. Don't use it as a negative. You've got to remember There are reasons why these were developed. And I think it got a bad rap early on, saying that, was the report card? Are you cheating? And it really isn't. It's more designed to see how well, what you've been doing. It could be that you need to take a look on how your testing's going and how you're doing with things. People always seem to think the negative. Oh yes, the man's trying to come and, track me down, and because all they want to do is just attack me for it. I have been many diabetic clinics over the years, and no one I've ever felt that someone was attacking me. It could be that I didn't agree with them, but that's different than someone attacking. Get your hemoglobin A1c checked. There's now personal machines where you can do it at home. Find out what your hemoglobin A1c is, discuss it with your doctor and say, well, why am I up at this amount? Do I need extra insulin? And work with them. Anyway, have another super day. I'll talk to you later. Bye now.